and welcome. My name is Garrett. Today I'm going to be talking about the only pedal you need for worship electric guitar. And yes, I said only. A lot of people have a ton of pedals, multiple layers of overdrive, a few different delays and reverbs, and I just wanted to sort of bring it back to a minimalist setup. Maybe you're just starting on worship guitar, just getting into it and spending thousands of dollars on pedals. Sounds like a lot to you, like it probably should initially. So what's the only pedal you need? Well, let's get into it. So first off, before you even buy a pedal, you're obviously going to need a guitar and amp. And I wanted to touch on this because these are some of the biggest parts of your tone. I encourage people to find a guitar that feels really great in your hands. Play around with a few different styles of guitars. You look up debates on like a Tele versus Stratocaster versus all these different genres of guitar for worship. Ultimately, I think whatever feels good for you, you can make work in the worship genre. Just find a guitar that you like the feel, especially of the neck of, that you can feel like you can move around the neck pretty easily, and that you like the tone of. Biggest thing is just that the guitar feels good to you, because if it feels good in your hands, then you're going to want to play it more frequently. And guitar playing, that's the biggest thing to growth as a guitar player, not having more pedals. Next, get an amp that you really like the tone of. So an amp, more than your guitar or even any pedal, is going to add the most to your tone. I think for most players it's worth it to just purchase an Iridium ACS1, some sort of amp modeler. It gives you also a few options to mess around with a few amps that are already mic'd perfectly, so they sound really good. The only pedal you need for worship guitar is a tuner. I think being on pitch and in tune is way more important than having a lot of effects going on. Learning to play in tune, learning to play parts in a song with just your guitar and your amp and a tuner pedal puts you eons beyond a lot of electric guitar players who have a ton of pedals but can't play super well or skilled on the guitar. Often I'll practice without even an amp, just acoustically unplugged. I'll practice just the electric guitar. It really highlights your things you need to work on when you're playing. When it makes it so bare, you're really having to rely on pickup selectors, so moving around from your neck to your bridge, messing with your tone knob, adjusting it a lot. If you can learn to adjust your guitar's tone from here, you're going to get a lot further in your guitar playing. Let me give an example. I'm gonna play through a few worship parts, just my guitar through an amp. Here you go. So as you can see, you can get a very different tone. Again, I was just using my guitar. That was the same amp the whole time through the Iridium, and I was just adjusting neck, bridge, middle, pickup, adjusting my tone knob a bit, but all those tones, that was coming just from the guitar. So it just goes to show, you can do a lot with just a guitar and an amp. Now, obviously, worship genre has a lot of effects going, but I want to tell you that this is a good enough rig for you if you're just starting out on electric guitar. If I had a guitarist come up to me who was just playing on guitar through an amp modeler and a tuner, and they were able to play all the parts in the song, I would totally let them play on my church worship team. If you can play parts well with your guitar, then you're a good worship guitarist, That being said, if you're interested in starting to add on effects and stuff, I'll talk through order of importance for building your pedal board. First thing I would add is a delay. Worship genre, you've got so much ambient stuff, you've got so much rhythmic, dotted eighth, and quarter notes. So if you're going to add one pedal, so now you have a 2-pedal board, I would add some sort of delay that has a type of texture combined with it. Examples of this, I use a Strymon El Capistan to tape echo, which is phenomenal. It's got like a tape saturation delay. I've also got a MXR Carbon Copy Deluxe that has like a modulated delay. So the reason I go for one of those two is just the texture that it adds with the modulation or with the tape saturation. It fills in those spaces. Both those pedals you can adjust from quarter note to dotted eighth pretty easily. It fills in a ton of space. A good delay can sort of sub in for reverb. I'll show you guys. So you can see, obviously, it's not a full-on reverb, but you can get by with the delay pedal, even if you don't have a reverb pedal yet, swelling in. Again, this is another example of using your guitar rather than just relying on your pedals to carry everything for you. Learn to use your volume knob for swells during ambient moments. With a delay pedal can add a ton. Now, maybe you've already got a delay, and now you're wanting to add another pedal. This is the next pedal. I would add some sort of overdrive. It's like the JHS Morning Glory or the JHS Super Bowl. Both of those seem to work really well as a light overdrive to add to those big parts. The next thing I would add, and this is pretty much a good pedal board, I would add some sort of reverb pedal. I use the Reverb RV6 on the shimmer mode, which I've really liked. That's really a delay, an overdrive, a reverb pedal, and a tuner. To me, that's a pretty full pedal board. As you add pedals, make sure that you're using the ones that you have well, you're using them consistently. I think adding one at a time is a great way to do it, because then you end up messing with the pedal a lot. You get to learn what that pedal does. Again, if you're just starting, a tuner is all you need. Get your guitar in tune, make sure that's in tune. Have a guitar that you love the feel of in your hands. Have an amp that sounds phenomenal and that you're really happy with, because the biggest amount of your tone is going to come from that amplifier and your fingers. You will fit into any worship mix really, really well, with or without other pedals. If you're one of those people who loves to have pedals, as you build it, just remember to practice still without your pedals, practice without your gear, practice with just your amp and your tuner, and become a better guitar player. Then when you add your pedals back in, I think you'll be so much better for it. Alright, awesome. I hope this helped you guys and encouraged you guys. You don't have to buy a ton of pedals to become a great worship guitarist. I hope if you're just starting out that you learn to play guitar really well. You learn to play it just with an amp, so that even if you lost your pedal board, you'd be able to play phenomenally and people wouldn't even notice. So I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great rest of your day.